that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators, and I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating. Thanks to all the rumors you be claiming. It's cool, I'm done with you, so they can throw you a celebration. You gon' hate it when you see me with somebody living better. I'm trying to tell you that me just doing me gon' have you jealous.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Chris Wyatt Reports. This is Chris live in central Pennsylvania. It is Tuesday, February 11th, 2025. Do you know who your children are? Well, when I was a little kid, that was always something you dreaded on television because at 8 or 9 o'clock, usually 9 o'clock, the television networks were, it's 9 p.m. Do you know where your children are? I never forget that. Usually that was a signal to the parents to go to bed. 9 p.m. Yeah, so I'll never forget that. All right. Well, thanks for the opening song. I had my eyes watering. Yeah, it's a great song, Jacques. That's from Giselle, who's a personal friend of mine. She's from Rietfontein in Namibia. And she has that song. Plus, she did the song Zuidwest. And she also did the song South Africa. So, yeah, really talented musician. She sang with Steve Hofmeyer once upon a time. And she's currently on tour, if I'm not mistaken. She recently survived a bout of cancer. A young mother, lovely lady, and married to South Africa's premier illusionist. Yeah, so that's Giselle, and I hope you find that interesting. Go check out her music. She has a channel on YouTube, but she does concerts. With her ties in Namibia, she tends to go back to Namibia quite a bit for concerts and do the Northern Cape as well. But that's Giselle. So some breaking news out of South Africa where Dudu Zuma Sambudla was made to grovel and apologize for her profanity-laced tweets on X against Floyd Shivambu. We'll talk about that in this program. We'll also talk about a number of other things, including Donald Trump and some issues going on across South Africa. It turns out South African National Defense Force, without our knowledge, reinforced their failed mission in the DRC, sending 700 to 800 more troops, according to news reports. I can't confirm that independently. That's what South African media is claiming. Just because planes took off from an airfield doesn't mean the troops went, but that's apparently what the case is. So they've pushed more money, more good money after bad money by sending more troops into harm's way into the Congo. And we're going to talk about that. We'll cover this Dudu situation quite a bit because Dudu's in the caca. And also we're going to talk more about the situation with the offer of refugee status to South Africans by President Trump. But two things up front. Number one, thank you to all those who tuned into my conversation with David Ansara from the Free Market Foundation. David and I do this periodically. He's a free market, a person who believes in capitalism as I do, and that's why I'm happy to have him on the program. But typically we get 200 or 300 views, maybe 500 views on a video with him. But because of the exciting times right now, we had over 5,000 people tune in for that and over 700, almost 800 people during the live stream at one time. Thank you so much for that. I really do appreciate it. Also, thank you to those of you who will show up later on. I have a special broadcast tonight. If my mods could put that out there, I don't think I've had a chance to put that out there anywhere yet. Let me get this very quick. I have a special guest on tonight, and the topic of tonight's video after the stream, you'll be redirected to it. That is how Trump saved South Africa. My special guest is the Sama Sambit, who'll be on the program. One of my viewers asked me to get him on. I saw his video, which was circulating, and we'll have him on tonight. I don't know if anyone else has had him on, but certainly I'm looking forward to that. Let me put this link into the mods group. Where the heck is the mods group? By the way, Vena Dutoy will be back on the program next Monday. We'll have him on. With any luck, we'll have Rob Hersoff on this Friday, and I'm waiting to hear back from Neil De Beer. So lots of people coming on all the time, keeping busy. So that's where we're at right now with guests coming up. But let me make sure that you're automatically redirected to where I want you to go to that next one. That should be an interesting conversation tonight. I don't know the gentleman. I've just seen his video, so we'll see what happens and how it goes. I want to customize this and then redirect. And I want to go there. Okay, so we've saved that. Now that's good. If you want to hang around for that, you'll be able to stay for that after this is over. Number of subscribers has tailed off significantly today from yesterday, which was a little bit lower than the day before. The number of views has dropped off a cliff. For people watching content, it's greatly down. So I'm not sure what that is, if YouTube is playing shadow banning again, or people are losing interest, or they have just exhaustion from all the content. But whatever the case is, those who are watching my content, thank you very much. I do appreciate it. Let me quickly go through the chat and just say hi to everybody. I'm not going to read every comment because there's a lot going on here. Allison Johnson, D. Barron, welcome. George Ants is in from PE. Tom Smith, PK. Ronaldo says, I assume the Colonel's strategically planning toilet breaks because he's more online than ever before. Well, funny you should mention that, Ronaldo. In the midst of Afrikaans Mensa, I did take a potty break. TMI. Eric is here. Welcome to PK Fang Wan. By the way, folks, Ronaldo has a new segment. What's it called, Ronaldo? Something, the unvarnished or the unbroken chat or something like that. Please put that in here, Ronaldo. You're also a mod. If you want to put a link to your channel, feel free to put a link in there. Ronaldo has a tiny little channel of just 135,000 subscribers, so we got to help him out every chance we get here. But seriously, he's got a new segment there where he's interviewing people. He's already poached the Conscious Caracal from me. I'll never forgive the Conscious Caracal for ignoring me. He's dead to me. And now he's interviewing Marco van Staden. He's dead to me as well. I haven't interviewed him in a while. Just kidding. Cool is here. Malcolm Clote's in from his boat. How's things going down there in Dirtbin? Diane Humple. Changing the wording of the embassy statement to minorities, which is what I told people is likely to happen. Because Trump inartfully used the term Afrikaner. He should have done this executive order. He should have said minorities. That was a much smarter move. That would have given hope to many more people. And I think that's how it's going to be executed. So we all need to relax and wait for the information, okay? Mark Purchase is here. And then we got Hardis Swanepoel. Tom Smith says, everyone gets information after it's formulated. There you go. Arctic is back. Arctic was with us again last night doing some great mod work. Jacques van de Westhuizen, welcome to you. Janet Joel, hello. It is hard to keep up, indeed. Wills is back. Pablo Charlie's here saying, holy smokes. What's the holy smokes for, Pablo? And then who else we got? Ended up in a deep rabbit hole about taking pets to USA. I can fully confirm you are allowed to take your pet, Hadida, as long as it's not a wild animal. You're not bringing those Hadidas to America. I will get my shotgun and hunt them down. Is the show starting at 6:15, a different time zone? I don't really know what the purpose of that comment was. So we're the show started, so relax. You posted the comment after the show was already live, complaining that it hadn't started. Chris Sten, welcome to you. Greg is in from Poland. Richard Kuhn, Daniel Smith, Tony Nage in from the oil sands. Tony DeBeer's back. Jacques Borain. Dylan Combrick, one of the usual suspects, the Unfiltered South. I watched the Sona debate. Yeah, I couldn't stomach that. I had other things to do. Love the song. It's a great song. Yep, thank you, Johan. It's kind of the unofficial theme song for this program. Ken Aronson's back. Ken, not again. What's not again? Who is in the USA? Matt, welcome to you. Congo Chris, Daniel Smith, Chris Ehlers is back. Hester Kotze. Hey, Hester. Charmaine Oosthuizen. Jacques, okay, that. Nettie, we really needed this song today. Thanks. You're welcome, Nettie. Well, it's usually the song I lead with, although I change it up sometimes depending on the circumstances. You should start a shoe with hip hop Spinnacle by Kurt Darren. I can do some Calfoot Silky. Almost 40,000. Yeah, we're not at 40,000, folks. Got a ways to go. Let's get the word out there. We really slowed down dramatically after having heady days here for a long period of time. And as I said, people are like trying to support me financially. The way that really helps is if more people find the program, watch the content. It's astounding to me how we've spiked in ad revenue from just a few years ago, just a few months ago, a few weeks ago. I was making $30, $40 max a month in ad revenue. I'm topping that in a day now, just because people watching videos. I actually had 3 days in a row with very good. So yeah, it's that's good stuff there. Also, the viewership is way up. We are now approaching on the channel lifetime, got to be close to 6 million views, I would think. Yeah, 6.2 million views. And we were just 4.5, I think, a month ago, or 4.2. So it really jumped a lot. Thank you for that. Really do appreciate all the support and the growth in channel and the subscribers. And as you see, I haven't forgotten anybody. Charles Van Olsen, the voice of reason. Robert Franklin Moore. Daniel Smith is here, and then dropping a bucket. Rainier van Rensburg, good evening to you. Garrett Gillichin from Somerset West. Leslie Ann Moon, I wonder where Sonia Hethold is. Fang Wan wannabe. Mr. Sergeant Duck. What is a good state if you love outdoors and affordable? Thanks for that. Wyoming. War starting in South Africa. Maybe Francois Olafia. We'll see. Let's hope not. Thanks for this opening song. You're very welcome, Jacques. All right. Mike is in from Pennsylvania. Welcome to see there. Arno Readers here. Marius Venta. Oki. Daniel Smith already said. Vulgar 9099. That's an interesting name. And who else we got here? The Unfiltered South. Trump welcomes all Afrikaners except Kurt Darren. Yeah, I was expecting that one to come. Or Snotkop. Jack, send the whole army to sort out the Congo. Well, they won't be able to do that. Marius says MK divide and conquer. We're going to talk about MK's shenanigans here this morning. Very shortly. Kurtz Verhoeven, Ulrich Fenter. I'm jumping ahead here, folks. Patrick gave a super chat of 35 Rand. I missed that. Thank you, Patrick, for the super chat. I appreciate that. Marlies, thank you so much for investing so much of your time for us, Colonel. We appreciate you. You're welcome. Ron Paul to take over the Federal Reserve. Is that a joke, or did you see that? Is that listed somewhere? Oh, my goodness. Are you calling for that? M says, oh, no, not Hersoff. What about Rob Hersoff? I didn't say anything about Rob Hersoff. What is MK on about? Well, there's a friction inside the party. Dudu Zuma is upset with Floyd Shivambu. So it's not a joke, says Pablo Charlie. Wow. Oh, my goodness. Wow. The Federal Reserve might find itself disbanded. Ron Paul is not a fan of the Federal Reserve or fiat money. Kate McKenzie needs to wear a suit, not designer clothes. He's a politician, not a rapper. Mods must be a glitch on my side, Janet. I don't know what the glitch is. Rob Hersoff was on a show with Byron just now. Really? Are you serious? Was it on Morning Shot or another program? Really? What program was that on? I didn't get a notification of that. Business? No. No. Where's it at? I don't. What program? Why do you guys do that to me? Oh, he was on Morning Shot. All right. Well, I guess I don't have any special relationship with Rob. He's going everywhere now. Yeah, I guess I have no special relationship. Okay. He told me to come on the program anytime. I contacted his PA. My PA told me March 26th. I said, he told me anytime at my convenience. And now he shows up on Morning Shot. So I don't blame that on Rob. I blame it on his PA. What's your DA take on DA challenge EWC? It's a joke, and I'll talk about it. Why would we do that to you? Because we can. Garrett Lotta says, thank you for helping getting the truth out there. You're welcome. I'm sure about McKenzie. He feels like he's on, but McKenzie just says stuff that's just silly. I will go to the Congo. I'll be the first to go in the army. Dude, well, you fit right in. You'd be a general officer with that belly. Oh, sorry. Did I say that out loud? I'm getting pudgy too, so that's not fat shaming because I shame myself. Lionel Holtzhausen, welcome to you. All good, no worries. Okay. Paul Liebenberg is laughing. All right, cool beans. All right, let's get to the news, folks. Lots to talk about here, as always. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget, after this broadcast, you're going to be redirected automatically, if you hang around, to a conversation with a young man from South Africa, which I hope you'll find interesting. Unbeknownst to most South Africans, the South African National Defense Force has apparently reinforced its failing mission in the Democratic Republic of Congo, sending more South Africans off to their likely death. This is a horrible situation. South Africa sent additional troops and military equipment to the DRC in recent days, political and diplomatic sources claim, after 14 of its soldiers were killed in fighting with M23 rebels a few weeks ago. The reinforcement comes amid fears that fighting eastern DRC could spark a broader war in a powder keg region that has over the past 3 decades witnessed genocide, cross-border conflicts, and dozens of uprisings. Flight data reviewed by Reuters showed transport aircraft flying from South Africa to Lubumbashi in southern DRC. An airport employee there confirmed military planes had landed last week. Ladies and gentlemen, why is it that the South African public finds out that the South African National Defense Force reinforced its mission in the Congo through Reuters, a British news outlet? Why didn't Parliament tell the country? Why didn't Minister 30% Anzimut Sheka inform the public that they had reinforced the mission? Why are we only finding out now through investigative journalism by a British media house shared by South Africans carrying a wire service news story? Why is it that South Africans were not informed of another 700 to 900 South African troops being deployed to the Congo, when this has been an open debate on the floor of Parliament, including yesterday? It was not even mentioned. This is beyond the pale. This is abusive. Now, they can make the comment that it was for operational security when they were deployed, but that's nonsense. They've been there for over a week, and we're just now finding about this. Wow. South Africa's National Defense Force budget is 0.7% of GDP. It's a joke. All right, so unbelievable. Unbelievable. Just now finding out about this. Meanwhile, the State of the Nation address response from the parties, AfriForum, SANDF, and U.S.-South Africa relations are among the top agendas as members of Parliament sat to question the squirrel himself, Ramaphosa, earlier today. I didn't bother to watch it, so I won't really comment on it. But I will say that while the Democratic Alliance has welcomed and praised Ramaphosa's speech, of course they have. They're good little lackeys. Other party leaders like Musi Maimane and Peter Groenewald, as well as Songiza Ziba, urged the president to act on his promises. Yep, including the 940 billion rand fictional story on infrastructure, which will never happen. 940 billion rand to be spent on infrastructure. That's a fairy tale. There's no money. It's not going to happen. Well, I see that South African media are finally telling the truth, something I've been telling you since the very beginning. Aid was suspended globally except for emergency things by the President of the United States. Foreign aid was suspended on January 20th. There were emergency measures that exemptions allow for life-saving things like HIV, antiretrovirals, and such that were exempted. It was unclear because of the ham-fisted delivery of that information by the U.S. government and the Trump administration. So on the 28th of January, I believe it was, Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, then put out a memo stating that there were exemptions for this. I've been telling South Africa since January 28th over and over every single day that HIV, antiretroviral medications are not prohibited. I've also told people that when the original order came down January 20th, that there was no cease work, that there was no ban, that there was no cut of funding to existing HIV or any other projects that are currently going on in foreign aid. That ban, if people took the time to read the executive order, explicitly stated that the United States could not engage in new funding commitments. New funding commitments. That means existing funding commitments that were funded through this fiscal year by law will continue. So USAID, those projects never shut down. Those were lies perpetrated by leftist fake media all over the world, in the United States, losing their minds because their feelings are hurt because the United States is no longer going to be a sucker for the world. As I said, there has never been a reason to shut down any projects. There are liars that work for the NGOs. There are liars that work for the ANC. There are liars in the mainstream media in South Africa. It was never shut down. You are stupid. You are fools. You are mamparas who chose to act like Cassandras. Oh my God, the sky is falling. USAID is closed. There was no change in state for existing programs, you lying sacks of cock. You are full of it. So finally, South Africa's media tells the truth. But the damage has been done. People attacking America for our generosity. Well, screw you. $8.1 billion and you this is how you treat us? Screw you. You whiny little babies complaining about this because you're too lazy to read, too lazy to comprehend modern standard written English. The United States never suspended antiretroviral funding. Never. That's a lie perpetrated by lying shitbags in South Africa and around the world. Unbelievable. Finally, Financial Mail reports today that PEPFAR projects are exempted from Trump's ban on aid to South Africa. They were exempted on the 28th of January. They were never suspended. And it was made clear on the 20th of January, but they've been exempted since the very beginning of the 20th. South African projects funded through PEPFAR are exempted until the end of April from executive order. The order halts all foreign aid that the U.S. government provides to South Africa because of what Trump describes as South Africa's unjust and immoral practices. According to a high-ranking U.S. Embassy official in Pretoria, the order does not impact life-saving and humanitarian programs such as PEPFAR. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, which is what I've said all along. And these lazy shits that call themselves journalists, wait 2+ full weeks. 28 January, 9, 30, 31, that's 4 days. And today's 11 days. That's 15 days before they tell people the truth. Meanwhile, South Africans, if I'm honest, run around and tell bullshit all the time and lie about this. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not sure if this is sad news or it's just indicative of the disdain that the black supremacist ANC party has for South Africans. The eviction order has been carried out, and the Khoisan's village at the Union Buildings has been obliterated and removed. The Khoisan king, who recently lost his wife in a traffic accident coming back up to the Highveld, now is homeless. Yet another poor Khoi and San homeless because of the ANC's policies. Look, I'm not advocating having a squatter camp outside the Union Buildings, but I've been there, and nice guy, and we talked, interviewed him. The 7-year Khoisan occupation of the Union Buildings in Pretoria has come to an end with the removal of the mini village erected there, in line with a court-ordered eviction which was enforced on Monday. Self-styled Queen Cynthia Triagat, 54, died, and her husband, King Khoisan, was injured in a car accident near Colesberg on January 10th. He has remained at their home in the Eastern Cape while recuperating. The Pretoria High Court granted an eviction order on December 11th. No appeal or opposition had been received against the court order from any interested parties, and the order has been carried out Monday morning. It's with while the department expresses sympathy for the serious grievances of the Khoisan community, no person has the right to claim or occupy public space intended to be used and enjoyed by all South Africans. Well, I would agree with that. It's a shame you're letting people occupy public spaces all over the country, selectively deciding who does. Anna Marie Nell says, can Trump rename South Africa Little America before we rename Little China? Oh, I got to put the, the announcements back up because I turned that alert box off. There we go. There's the alert box. Sorry about that, Anna Marie Nell. Should name Mississippi. Okay. All right. The Democratic Alliance has challenged the Expropriation Without Compensation Act in court. And what I have to say about that is it's just window dressing in my view. Like Puxatawny Phil, Helen Zilla, the federal chair of the Democratic Alliance, has popped her head out from her hiding space to announce that, or to comment on the fact that the Democratic Alliance on Friday took a case to the court to challenge this. Now, my concern about this is that it challenges it on technicality, not on legality purpose. They're saying it's legality, but it's a technicality. The real question is that it's clearly unconstitutional, and they're not challenging it. They also didn't put forward a Section 80 challenge, which would require the Constitutional Court to address this immediately. This means that this issue will be drugged through the courts for ages. So I'm not impressed by the Democratic Alliance's lawsuit. To me, it's backside covering. They've been exposed. They have been embarrassed. They have been losing support in droves. They are probably now the third largest party in South Africa. If we took a poll today, if people went out and voted for which party they support, I'll bet you that the DA has dropped a third behind MK as a consequence of their actions related to this. Yep. So now they're just trying to cover their backside. And I think that they'll lose this case. And they're happy to lose the case because then at least say, well, we tried. See, we did something. DA Helen Zilla says the narrow focus of the case was a matter of strategy. Oh, okay. It's their strategy. A notable feature of the DA's court challenge, the Expropriation Act, is what it does not contain. The DA has been vocal about its opposition to the act on the basis that it allows for expropriation without compensation. But its court case does not challenge the nil compensation provision in Section 12. It doesn't challenge it. Now, why is that? Why is that? Why aren't they challenging it? F you! Dudu says to Floyd. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, here's the big story here. Dudu Zuma Sambudla. MK go to ground after Zuma reprimands daughter for rant. The MK party was sent scrambling by an early morning social media rant from one of its MPs, Dudu Zuma Sambudla, who is the party founder's daughter. She directed expletive-laden tweets against one of the party's most senior members, Secretary General Floyd Shivambu, an EFF refugee. The younger Zuma's ire was stoked by ex-posts from MK-linked social media accounts sympathetic to Floyd Shivambu. Yeah, she went off in these tweets. Commanders of 16 December 2023, the real co-founders of MK, I hear you loud and clear. I stand with you 100%. I will not forsake you. Submit or fight. We choose to fight. Ooh, Sawabona. I see you, Dudu. Sawabona. Yes, this jackass, Dudu Zuma Sambudla, we're going to talk about her Fangwan wannabe. Thanks for hearing my questions about the word change from Afrikaners to minorities. If implemented like that, it would be amazing news. Well, who told you that was likely to occur? On the Friday night when I announced it. Yep. All right. Told people to calm down. All righty. So, my deepest apology for any offense caused. Dudu apologizes. Ooh, she apologizes. Ooh, look at her. Look at her. Little toy soldier, pretend soldier. We're going to fight. She can fight her way out of a freaking Taco Bell. MK Party MP Dudu Zuma Sambudla, daughter of party lead Jacobson, has apologized after posting scathing tweets about Secretary General Floyd Shivambu, saying that it's the worst thing that has happened to the party. Yes, well, he may be the worst thing, but I think the worst thing is the fact the party exists. News 24 updates their story that she apologized following her profanity-laden ex-post. And the toilet paper of record, the independent line, not to be left out, also carries this story with Dudu and her hideous-looking nails. Why are they square? It looks like you're using them for screwdrivers, not fingernails. Anyway, yeah, she's apologized for her rant. Let's take a look at this. Ladies and gentlemen, I have here the press release from the Umkhonto weSizwe party, the frauds who claim the mantle of the Spear of the Nation, which they are not. All right, so 11 February 2025. Umkhonto weSizwe party statement on the ex-post of MK member commander. Commander of what? What is she commanded? She's a commander in her own brain. These people are comical, stealing military terminology. It's like Julius Malema, commander-in-chief. Commander-in-chief of what? A rabble? You're not commander-in-chief of anything. You're the president of your bogus party. The Umkhonto we Sizwe Party acknowledges a recent public post on X made by MK member Commander Dudu Zuma. These posts are insulting towards the Secretary General of Umkhonto we Sizwe Party, constituting a direct violation of the party's disciplinary code of conduct. Such actions are unacceptable, divisive, denigrating, and offensive. They undermine the principles of unity, respect, and discipline that are fundamental to the values of Umkhonto we Sizwe. In response, the president of Umkhonto we Sizwe, President Jacob Zuma, has issued the following directives. He spanked his daughter. I wish I could make a meme of Dudu Zuma being spanked by daddy, by Baba. Baba spanked her. Commander Dudu Zuma must issue an unconditional public apology to the Secretary General, the President, members, supporters of Umkhonto we Sizwe, and all the people of South Africa. Woohoo! All of South Africa. She must also extend formal apologies to all structures she serves in or leads, including the Southern Caucus of the Pan-African Parliament. Talk about a useless body, the Pan-African Parliament. These apologies must be made immediately. Following this, an internal disciplinary process will be initiated in accordance with the party constitution, code of conduct, and all relevant prescripts. Failure to comply with this directive will result in immediate consequences, including the summary termination of Commander Dudu Zuma's membership in Umkhonto we Sizwe and her recall from all party responsibilities. Umkhonto we Sizwe is a movement of the people grounded in maximum discipline and strict adherence to the disciplinary code of conduct. No member, regardless of a position, is above the constitution of MK. Signed or issued by President Jacob Zuma, President of Umkhonto we Sizwe Party. Okay, so that's what the party said. I have here the apology from Dudu Zuma Sambuda. Here we go, folks. Oh, it just gets crazier every day in South Africa. I can't get any sleep between South Africa and America. Public apology from Commander Dudu Zuma Sambuda, 11 February 2025. As a committed and disciplined member. Discipline. You're being punished for not being disciplined, for being ill-disciplined. And a disciplined member of the Umkhonto we Sizwe Party, I hereby extend this unconditional public apology to President Zuma and Umkhonto we Sizwe Party leadership for the profanity used in my recent post on X. She didn't say for the profanity that I used. She says for profanity in the passive voice as if we don't know who used it. That is dishonest intellectually. While I hold a strong and personal views, including serious concerns about internal party matters, my perceptions of how certain issues may be handled within the organization, especially by the party Secretary General, I fully recognize that such concerns should have been and shall be addressed through the proper internal channels as dictated by the core values and principles of the glorious movement of the people. The glorious movement of the people, a bunch of race hustlers. I acknowledge that expressing these grievances publicly was unfortunate and may have undermined the unity, discipline, and respect that defines the MK party. My profanity was not and should not be a reflection of the revolutionary discipline, respect, and solidarity that our organization, under the esteemed leadership of President Jacob Zuma, upholds. Revolutionary discipline. Oh my God, it's like herding cats with these people. To President Jacob Zuma and the MK party, the entire leadership, members, supporters of MK, and the people of South Africa, I wish to assure you that I never intended to harm the integrity of the party or the values it upholds. Hence, my deepest apology for any offense caused in this regard. Furthermore, I offer formal apologies to all the structures I serve in, whose roles and responsibilities I carry with the utmost humility and commitment. I hope my apology is received in the spirit of accountability, revolutionary solidarity, whatever the hell that is, and a genuine commitment to upholding the values of the MK party. I'm fully prepared to commit to cooperate with any internal processes deemed necessary by the party as part of my continued dedication to the ideals of discipline, respect, and unity. In revolutionary solidarity, Commander Dudu Zuma. Yeah, embarrassing to say the very least. I'll tell you, man, South Africa is a comedy show. I wonder if Barry Hilton could deal with this. All right. Yeah, the chat GPT write that. So, Liesel van Wyk just put a big super chat. Does USA have a long-term plan for South Africa, knowing ANC, EFF, MK may go for broke? Is that why Afrikaners get this grace? Do USA no more? Also risk of ISIS infiltrating Limpopo? Comment on South Africa's logistical advantages for USA, if any. Wow. Okay. Wow, Liesel, that's a lot, but you've given a big super chat, so I'm going to pause what I'm doing to address that, because that's a big super chat. Thank you for that. I hope that wasn't all you had and all you could afford. Francois Mouleman, welcome to you. This clown, oh my God. Yeah. Let's see how sympathetic Iran is towards the plight of AIDS-riddled Africans. Exactly. Or China. They won't be very sympathetic. Okay. Who writes this crap for these fools? Chat GPT. Chat GPT, this is Dudu Zuma. I need a groveling apology for being a deuce to party member Floyd Shivambu. Could you write me something that grovels appropriately? All right. Liesel van Wyk. Does the USA have a long-term plan for South Africa? Well, you're asking for my analysis or speculation. My expectation, this jacket is really torquing me off here. My expectation is that yes, the U.S. government does have a long-term plan for its engagement with South Africa. They're not sharing that, however. I think the USA has simply had enough of being abused. This is like a domestic violence situation or a spousal abuse where you have a beaten spouse who keeps coming back despite the threats from their partner. The partner with the threats that's beating on is South Africa. The U.S. is the abused spouse in this relationship. And, we just keep coming back. Well, finally, the spouse has said enough. We're going to shelter, and we're no longer going to support this relationship because you're abusive. So the long-term plan is to get South Africa to quit undermining U.S. national interest or cut South Africa loose. All right. Knowing that ANC, MK may go for broke. Well, okay, that's not going to happen. This is not going to happen. All right, let me be very clear. I've covered this before the elections, when the election results came out, and I predicted accurately what was going to happen, including the formation of a grand coalition, which they want to call Government of National Unity. I said a grand coalition. So here's the deal. The ANC will never do an alliance with MK unless Cyril Ramaphosa is tossed aside and the radical economic transformation element is still inside of the ANC that didn't leave for MK or leave years before for EFF. That part of the party holds sway. Then they'll welcome Zuma back and they'll merge with MK or something like that. That could happen. Unlikely, but it could happen. But as long as Jacob Zuma is there and Cyril Ramaphosa is there, never going to happen. And even if Ramaphosa is gone, it still might not happen. Probably won't. EFF is not going to go into a coalition with the ANC because they're too stupid to do it. And the ANC doesn't want them. They're convenient foils, but not useful partners in a coalition. The EFF, where it's served in a coalition, has undermined DA and ANC governments in Nelson Mandela Bay and also in Johannesburg. So that's not going to happen. Does the USA know more? Yes, the United States knows a hell of a lot more than they're letting people know. I've read this a million times. I used to be an intelligence officer for 3 decades, worked at all levels of national intelligence, tactical to the President of the United States. And I'm an intelligence officer and an analyst and a political scientist and historian. And this sentence in this executive order that talks about minority South Africans being abused and then about Israel and Hamas, but this is the most telling statement in this. And reinvigorating its relations with Iran to develop commercial, military, and nuclear arrangements. Why are people not focused on that? Why is the government of South Africa not realizing that the United States will not tolerate South Africa assisting Iran with nuclear ambitions? Why is that not a top story in the media? Because they're all fake news. All right. Also, risk of ISIS infiltrating Limpopo. Not going to happen. There is no ISIS. Well, actually, that's not true. ISIS is probably already in South Africa. We know that Al-Qaeda is operating in South Africa and other groups operate in South Africa and have operated there for years. The thing is that they don't attack South Africa because it's a logistical base. It's a place. It's one of the reasons why South Africa got graylisted in the Financial Transactions Task Force, because South Africa doesn't uphold the standards that are international norms for preventing money laundering or terrorism support. Therefore, they've been graylisted. And while they claim they've knocked out this, and this, that's all fine. But the most difficult ones are still unresolved and won't be resolved anytime soon. So will remain graylisted for financial transactions. So ISIS is not in Mozambique. People think that this band of violent, evil criminals is ISIS or Al-Qaeda or Boko Haram, all of which they claim that they're part of, or all of which they claim they're affiliated with. We have no evidence that they are affiliated with anybody. And we're also talking about 150 or so people. This is not a major movement. It's a movement that could easily be destroyed if a proper military went there. We saw that with the Rwandan Defense Force going there and putting the smackdown on them pretty quickly and stopping their activities, all but eliminating them. Just Rwanda, which has a professional military, which is another stupid thing for Ramaphosa to get into a fist fight with Rwanda Defense Force, which would obliterate the SANDF. Okay, comment on South Africa's logistical advantage for USA, if any. Well, there are advantages. South Africa has, despite all the challenges, a modern infrastructure and financial network, and also, despite collapsing infrastructure, does have better infrastructure than most of Africa, and airports that usually function. So communications that usually function. So South Africa is a good launch pad for Southern Africa in particular, but the rest of the continent in general. 600 U.S. businesses have their African headquarters in South Africa. Almost all international media no longer have press offices in Cairo and in Abuja or in Lagos or in Nairobi and in Joburg. Most of the international media now only have one office in Africa, and that's in Johannesburg, where they cover the continent from there, from afar. So that's why when people say, what do you know about South Africa? I don't have to be in South Africa to know about South Africa. The media aren't there. Anyway, so there are some advantages from that standpoint, but South Africa's ports are a disaster. South Africa's ports are the worst rated on the planet. Not my analysis. The people that analyze this, they've rated South Africa's ports the worst, worse than any country in the world. And the sea lanes around the Cape of Good Hope are not as important as South Africa thinks they are. As long as the Suez Canal remains open, that's far more important, and that's where most of the traffic goes. So about 85% of the traffic usually goes through there. So I think I've answered your questions. There's no real advantage for us. Using South Africa's airfields are useful. But South Africa only has one functioning refinery. All its others are shut down, including the one in Durban. And so South Africa has to import refined petroleum products rather than refine it there, which has led to fuel shortages at OR Tambo and other airports and around the country and petrol stations. So you can't count on South Africa being a reliable partner from that standpoint. We're far more likely to get the fuel we need landing in Accra than we are to get it landing at Waterkloof. Statement of fact there. All right. Did I answer your questions, Liesl? Thank you for that super chat. That was awesome. Wasn't expecting that. Congo says we do play an important role in astronomy. Yep, NASA does rely on its telescopes located in South Africa and the crew. True. I blame ANC's apartheid for every white is gone. How long do you think it will take for Kristi Noem and Marco Rubio will submit the refugee plan to President Trump? There's a lot going on in USA. Yeah, Pierre, I could come up with this plan in 48 hours and have it vetted and approved. So I don't know what the holdup is. It's already Tuesday. I would expect that they probably ought to have some additional guidance by Friday this week, which is what I said last Friday. I said give them a week. I think the fact that the embassy made the nuance on its website saying minorities without any approval from Trump that we're aware of means that that's the direction they're going. So we'll see. I think really this is all about this is really all about the Trump administration trying to bring pressure on South Africa to stop acting like fools when it comes to U.S. national security interests. And they realize that making an offer to Afrikaners to come to America can put a serious amount of pressure on South Africa to stop treating America like crap. Mario says, I'm looking into the USA. Musk and his team are digging up some skeletons closet. Must get Musk to clean house. Yeah, South Africa. He's going to be a little busy here for that. South Africa's overruling executive order 76 says that all governments must step down Space Force. What? I don't know what the hell that is. Greetings to the 575 people currently here. Be sure to hit that like button if you don't mind. Other parties you just spoke about, they're snakes coming from past history. Ivan Haynes, I love you, Colonel. Thank you for what you do. You're very welcome. Frank Bruns says, I've stopped blaming the government because the voters should be blamed. Agreed. What else? They just want... Okay, I think I've caught up on a lot of the chat here, so apologies. Let me jump back down the bottom here to get back to the news because that's what we're focused on right now. Yeah, so back to the news stories that we were talking about. Dudu Zuma, we're done with that. The MK party's allegations and treason charge against AfriForum are absurd. I said that. Now AfriForum has followed through and said it as well. AfriForum says the MK party's case of treason against the organization has no grounds. On Monday, the MK party opened a case of treason in Cape Town Central Police Station against the lobby group for allegedly spreading misinformation. Yep, AfriForum CEO Kali Creel said the charges are absurd and would not cause sleepless nights. It's the duty of civil society and organizations such as AfriForum to shine a light on legislation and acts that threaten the welfare of citizens in the country. We cannot keep quiet about the injustice being committed at the expense of South Africa's citizens and the South African economy. False allegations AfriForum has spread, misleading information about your expropriation act, and this is the reason for USA's actions against South Africa are blatant lies. Yep. He said what they were doing was in the interest of the country and its citizens to point out the dangers the act poses private property owners. Exactly. 100%. And thank you, Ruth Keeley, for subscribing. The Army needs you. In the Army. What's the Navy? You can sail the 7 seas in the Navy. Sorry. Village people there. Anyway, but yeah, so Gate McKenzie says the Army needs you, telling the EFF to take the red Teletubbies to join the Army. Can you imagine that? The red Teletubbies joining the Army? Wow. Outspoken Minister of Sports, Arts, and Culture, Gate McKenzie, has criticized the EFF, labeling them toy soldiers, accusing them of doing nothing while the SANDF troops are being killed in the DRC. Well, to be fair, Chaco, thank you for your membership. To be fair, Gate McKenzie is also running around claiming that I'll be the first to go. I'll be in the Army. He's not going to do that. Give me a break. Give me a break. Give me a break, Gate. All right. ANC was looking for an easy scapegoat, an easy target, says colleague Creel, interviewed by News 24. But only found itself to blame. Yep. AfriForum CEO Khalid Creel has rubbish claims that its international campaign to shine light on farm murders and expropriation without compensation is to blame for U.S. President Donald Trump's recent action. Trump executive order dated 7 February and published by the White House. Trump cut off aid to South Africa. Yes, we know that. But it's all about rubbishing. We got another membership there. Hardest. Swanepoel, thank you for your membership. Okay. I think it's a much bigger amount. The Hawks, I'm not sure which case you're talking about there. Okay, moving right along from there. A family in KwaZulu-Natal is puzzled about the murder of a Gogo. She was shot 20 times. What the hell is going on? What are the people doing here? The family of a woman from Ngutu, KwaZulu-Natal, who was shot more than 20 times, are in shock over the brutal slaying. Egna Swana Sondizi, 64, told her grandson she feared for her safety on Sunday night after she heard footsteps in the backyard. She left her room and went to sleep in a rondavel on the property. A short while later, a group of attackers stormed her residence and found her in the rondavel. They shot her more than 20 times before fleeing. Her daughter, Fikile Tsotsetse, said they are shocked by the killing. We are confused why my mother was killed in such a callous manner. She said her mother was living with her grandson. We strongly condemn the brutal murder of a woman. This heinous act highlights the ongoing crisis of gender-based violence, and we demand swift justice for the victim and her family. We urge the community to work closely with the police and provide any information that would lead to the immediate arrest and successful prosecution of those responsible, said ANC Women's League team coordinator Matos Shozi. The problem with that statement is that we don't know that this was gender-based violence. We don't know why this woman was murdered. It might have been a dispute over property or something she said. So to make the assumption it's gender-based violence because she's a woman undermines the actual concept of gender-based violence. Shwane Mayor, the Times Live, dutifully is pimping her first 100 days in office, saying that Shwane Mayor Nafisa Moya gives a glowing review of her first 100 days in office. Well, I read the story, and the mayor didn't give herself a glowing review. That's what the journalist did. Yeah, that's not. So before we attack Action SA's mayor in Shwane for self-promotion, we should point out that the media are the ones that did the self-promotion, well, the promotion of her. She didn't do it herself. She said the good news is that our efforts are yielding results. Since taking off, we've secured an agreement to ring-fence historic Eskom debt, and yada, 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 yada. So she didn't say that we are giving ourselves a glowing review. The media did that. So be careful about headlines. Ladies and gentlemen, another horrific story. This is really, I'm so sick of this crime, this nonsense taking place. It really needs to be clawed back. The police really need to get their act together and start dealing with this. The video of a kidnapped 9-year-old girl surfaces on social media. A chilling video of a young girl believed to be 9-year-old Eman Fatima, who was allegedly abducted 6 days ago, has surfaced on social media. The video shows a sobbing child, her hands tied behind her back, still in her school uniform. In the video, she pleads for help, calling out, "Come and take me, please. I don't want to stay here anymore. Please give them whatever they want, mommy, please." The incident sent shockwaves through Buffalo Flats area of East London, where she was abducted on February 4th. Reports state Fatima was near the school when a silver gray Toyota Corolla with no number plates approached. Two unknown men allegedly grabbed her, forcibly taking her away while leaving her brother behind in full view of other school children. 6 days later, the disturbing video surfaced, further intensifying the search for the girl and raising awareness about her abduction. The video has gone viral, prompting an outpouring of support and concern for the public. In a poignant show of desperation, her father spoke out for the first time during an awareness march. With a trembling voice, he appealed to kidnappers, "Please release my Fatima. We're also humans. Think about us. We're not foreigners. We are South Africans. We live here. We do everything. We pay taxes. We need protection." While I empathize and sympathize with Fatima's father, you're not foreigners. What the hell does that have anything to do? So it's okay to kidnap foreigners? And this is what I have to say to the criminal justice system and the South African police service. You people are feckless and useless. You've allowed this brazen effort to kidnap people off the streets, children, a 9-year-old schoolgirl. Can you imagine her hands tied behind her back? When the child has to defecate or urinate, what happens? The horror of being held like she'll be scarred for life if nothing further happens to her. Unbelievable. This is a consequence of black supremacy and failed governance by the ANC. Instead of maintaining functioning police systems and justice systems and ensuring public safety, they purged the police, they purged the justice system of qualified people because they had the wrong skin pigmentation in their racist drive for revenge. You have undermined the security and put the lives of 63 million South Africans at risk with your policies. It's a shameful conduct on your part, and it needs to be reversed. People need to hold the South African government accountable for its lack of action, its inaction, and for allowing this criminality to metastasize in South Africa. Super chat. Daniel asked, for 35 Rand, he got half as much text in as Liesl did for 700 Rand. Thank you for your membership pin. So Mari says, thanks. We'll start checking again at 3 a.m. with updates. Good night, everyone. 3 a.m. with updates. What? Oh, you mean, you're only here to hear if I had news on what's going on. What's the timeline for Trump's refugee offer to take effect? No one knows, Daniel. Once active, will it take 18 to 24 months in the U.S. like other cases? No. Where do you get 18 to 24 months from? Where's that story coming from? Where are you getting that information from? Who told you that? That's horseshit. Who told you that? Thank you for the great show comment. Daniel, who told you it takes 18 to 24 months to get refugee status? Who told you that? 160,000 Afghans came here with no notice, many with no documents, with zero vetting. And they were welcomed and given lodging and supported and given green cards. And they're here, dumped in our midst because of Joe Biden's failed foreign policy. I don't know where you got 18 to 24 months from. Is that from some website, from AI, from Google, from News 24? Every case is different. Every case is different. We've allowed this. KFC and Chile and bad policy. You're right, Dave. T-Rex. Oh, T-Rex just subscribed. Thank you for that. All right. Trump is draining the swamp. He is indeed. The political class don't care. Chris, their children have bodyguards. Agreed. Trump has asked $500 billion in rare earths from Ukraine for continued support per usual. Unusual wills. Yeah, no, that's old news, Pablo Charlie. That was news announced days ago. I announced that. I covered that story, and I said I have a problem with it. That is old news. Old news. We shouldn't be getting rare earth elements to send weapons to kill Russians and Ukrainians. That war should end, and that should be the focus of the U.S. government, is if they're going to be involved in it, they should be involved in ending it, not financing it. Excuse me. What a story, reference Fatima. It's pretty sad. That's why I say our children do not deserve this. I agree, PK. Yeah, there's a new community. If you want to join our community on X, which Hendo just put the link in there, I've created a community called Making South Africa Great. I did that last week, I think. Peter says, this has been going on, going on for years, bribes and ransom money. You know, I'm well aware of it, Peter. I'm not saying it's new. Thank you, Jan Meyer, for the super chat. I'm not saying it's new, Peter. I've been reporting on it for years. I'm just saying that it's a consequence of failed justice and failed policing. Janet Joel says, horseshit. What's horseshit, Janet? The one thing that angers me the most, if adults want to fight one another, then fight, but bring women and children to victimize them is the worst thing ever. Well, women are adults. They get some pretty serious fights, especially black women in America. A lot of fake media around these days. That's true. Ronaldo's just gone live. Why is everybody going live when I'm live? Joe Emilio is also live right now, too. None of these people, well, Ronaldo wasn't doing Tuesday streams. Now he's suddenly streaming on Tuesdays. Folks, you can watch whatever content you want. You want to go watch Ronaldo? Feel free. You want to watch his content? Thank you for staying here. You want to watch go watch Joe Amelia? You're welcome to do that. And you also watch people's programs after the fact too. So Don't believe everything you see or hear. A lot of fake stuff out there. Can't wait to leave. The low IQ is making me stupid. Lumberjack, can't wait to be an Afrikaner American. Tony says, for your South African trip, blessings. Thank you for the $10. Tony, that's the second one you give me to fund my South African trip. I appreciate that. Canadian dollars. Morning Shot is saying asylum, not refugee status. He's misinformed. Yeah, he is, if that's what he's saying. Last night, someone told me something else he said that was incorrect. Asylum is not refugee status. They're completely different things. So if they're telling you that, they're wrong. EU is about to piss Trump off and our BRICS partners. They have offered a lifeline. A lifeline to whom? Who are they offering a lifeline to? South Africa? And Gabe is back. Welcome. It is horrific if you're talking about the Fatima story. Yeah, we need a president like Mr. Trump. Okay. Yeah, exactly. Erica got refugee status within days of leaving the Congo in Katanga in the 1960s, when these concepts were less fully developed than they are now. FRHE plan is different to the next one. We just need to be patient, wait for them. Exactly. Freya says, what is so sickening is the ANC robs us twice, stealing tax money and then using it to provide state-proof themselves. Jacques Leroux, thank you for your membership. Is Gayton a good president? He's not the president. He's a minister of sports, arts, and culture. I'll just call myself an American, says Victor. The government is horseshit. Well, thank you, Janet, for the clarification, because we don't know what you're getting at there. And there's another super chat. Thank you for all these little super chats coming in, guys. Peter O'Reilly, great show. Fake news. Well done, Chris. Yeah, no, I expose fake news all the time. According to the UN, women and femicide statistics, in 2020, the South African Police Service recorded over 2,700 cases of women being murdered. Yep. I do agree with you. All the defense forces are useless. They are totally over. Thank you for the description. I forget. Defense forces are useless. South Africa, they're totally overweight and they can't even jump a fence. Yep. Can tiny Russia and little China intervene? They won't. They can. Domino Production, welcome to you. Oh, you'd rather be here. Jock, too. Well, thank you for being here, guys. Gayton has been saying a lot of crap lately. That will lose him a lot of support. I agree. Those guys blocked me. Thank you for your patience, Colonel. Wow, really? Those channels blocked you? Okay, Dave. I don't think you've said anything here that's drawn my attention. They're using you for a launch. It's okay. Look, I mean, in the interest of full disclosure, my channel, when it was censored and disappeared, I would have had to wait a very long time to be able to do live streams again on this newer channel if it hadn't been for Ronaldo. Ronaldo, when Zuma or when Ramaphosa was doing his speech, told people that my channel had been taken away and that I was back, and told them where they could find my channel. And I quickly grew back to 1,000 subscribers and the 4,000 hours I needed to go live again and monetize my channel. So, yeah, I owe that gratitude to Ronaldo for that. Plus, we do a show every week. No, I'm just saying that people are all changing their patterns, and it's fair. I mean, there's a lot going on. There's a lot to report on. Everyone's got their own view, their own input. So if Ronaldo and Morning Shot want to go live at the same time I'm live, then that's their prerogative. I have always built my live streams around times that other people weren't broadcasting and had big audiences. So, for instance, when I first started doing live streams in 2020, I picked 5 p.m. South Africa time as my broadcast time. It was lockdown. Most people were at home, so it didn't matter about people coming home from work at 5 o'clock. Then Morning Shot started with Roman, started doing live streams several weeks after that, and they did it the exact same time I was doing it. Well, I actually liked watching their content, and their channel was 4 times the size of mine at that time, and I couldn't compete with that, so I voluntarily moved my start time to 6 p.m. Now, a lot of people complain because that's when they eat dinner and they couldn't watch the show. But I'm not going to broadcast at a time. I was just showing due concern for other channels. But people can broadcast when they want. It's a free world. They can talk about what they want. It's a free world. On average, country experiences, yeah, that's a lot every day. Dave McKenzie. Who's Dave? Oh, Dave McKenzie. Take off, you hoser. We respect you, Colonel. We really appreciate it, honestly. You're welcome, Pierre, and you get that from me. And Jarith will watch Ronaldo later. There, see, you can do that. There you go, folks. Byron said, again, that it's asylum, that it would take months to happen. Well, Byron is wrong. I haven't had a chance to ask him about that. He's flat out wrong. He's flat out wrong. Lee Fred Blingnot says, not leaving. Thank you very much, Erica. Okay. Jacques Leroux, thank you for your membership. Tian Fogs, thank you for the 39 rand. I don't receive any stripper chats. That's why I'm staying. Did you see latest Rob Hersoff interview with Biz News? Looks like it's coming go with sanctions. Did you see my video? What do you think Rob knows more than I know? I already predicted that, and almost nobody's watched my video from this week, in which I predicted that the sanctions were, or not sanctions, but AGOA status was disappearing. I did that on, when did I put that video out? Say goodbye to AGOA. Yesterday morning I did that. Yep. Already predicted that. Monday morning after midnight. So really 2 days ago for me, essentially. All right. When I ask if he's a good president, I'm using foresight considering him in that position. Oh, okay. Got you, Dave. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. He certainly likes attention. Dave loves Rob. That's great. Frankly, I don't know how anyone would want to stay behind. Okay, Ronaldo was a good friend to you. Yes, he was. And I've been very good to Ronaldo as well. Yep. No one is talking about who is going to pay the outstanding bonds and property. You are, Joanne. When the government expropriates your property, you're still liable for the debt. And they'll come after whatever you have. You are liable. You don't get out the debt because the government took your property. Evie says, I'm so terrified. No one in my family's talking about it. I don't even know how to prepare. Oh, Evie, stop getting yourself worked up into a froth there. It's going to be okay. All right. USAID now has 611 employees. Well, if they do hold them, then they've increased because the press and the government announced that the USAID was down to 293 employees. Maddie had a lot of time in her hands and took a closer look at 92 ANC memo that was posted on WhatsApp. If you look at it, the ANC's plan has worked. Exactly. Yep. MB, hey Colonel, finally catching a live. YouTube notifications suck. Well, that's intentional. It's called shadow banning. Thank you for all this. But to be fair, if YouTube used to send emails all the time, they've stopped that a long time ago. In order to get notifications, you have to have the app installed on your mobile device. You have to have the software on your operating system, whether it's Android or Apple, turned on to, or iPhone, have it turned on to receive notifications from that app, and then you have to select notifications on the app. So all three of those things must be true. Just because you go to the website, you sign up, you become a subscriber, you push notifications, you also got to make sure it says all notifications. And then you got to make sure that the device actually lets those notifications come in. So, but if you're getting notifications from other channels, then all that's set. It means that I'm being shadow banned. Yeah, but thank you, MB. Also love Neil DeBeer, says Dave. Okay, thoughts on U.S. next move? AGOA is gone. Just a matter of time. Why don't all South Africans identify as black like Rachel Dosley? Yeah, I didn't see the parliamentary thing, so I'll probably watch it later if I have time. I'm here and grateful for your time and appreciate your constant updates, says Recall. Johan Smith says the banks added a clause to all bond agreements that should the bondholder lose a property, the bondholder will still be liable. They don't have to add a clause. That's just how banks work around the world. You're still liable. So I got a feeling UK is somehow involved in this mess. I don't know about that. Anyone who refuses to pay something they don't own, banks will repossess property, and that's not going to end well. Janet Joel, and there's E.L. Oosthuizen, thank you for becoming a member. Well, with Ronaldo's hair and your beard, you make a semi-decent looking human. Arctic, go back to your scotch. Jerome Powell just said, we do not need to be in a hurry to adjust policy. U.S. economy is strong overall. Yeah, I disagree with that. You need to get deflation to bring prices back down a little bit. So anyway, back to the news. Okay, so Uganda, turning our attention to Uganda where Ebola is still there. 9 cases, 265 others are being monitored and under quarantine. Wow. Cases have risen to 9, while 265 other people being monitored under quarantine, according to health authorities. The 9 include the first victim, a male nurse who died the day before the outbreak was declared on January 30th. So far, it's the only fatality, which is shocking. Ebola used to have an 85 to 90% mortality rate. The more recent variants, which is normal for viruses, they tend to ameliorate over time. A virus that wipes out every one of its hosts won't survive. There's no reservoir for it. So the virus has become less deadly, but it's still pretty horrific. And we've seen, for instance, in the Mono River region of West Africa, in the viral outbreak of 2013-2014, that the mortality rate dropped to as low as 30 or 40% rather than 80 or 90%. So, yep. So that's what's happening there. In Sudan, the government claims that they're beating back the RSF. Yep. Huge war to cleanse the country of RSF. That doesn't sound good. Cleanse them. These are people who were in the government with them just a short time ago. Sudan's military said on Saturday that it had recaptured most of Khartoum North as it intensified its offensive aimed at reclaiming full control of the capital from the paramilitary rapid support forces. The army's been at war with the RSF since April of 2023, near a year long now, in a conflict in which the ANC is largely silent. The slaughter of black Africans doesn't draw their attention or their sympathy. Can European boots on the ground protect Ukraine after the war. Deterring Russia from reinvading Ukraine once the war ends could require 150,000 troops with American help with air cover, intelligence, and missile defense, according to experts. Well, and here's what I have to say about that. No United States support for Ukraine, no U.S. boots on the ground. Ukraine is an Eastern European country. They're not part of NATO, and they must find their own path. Case closed. The Bank of England has adjusted its key rate, and they're saying it should be well above neutral. Man has surprised investors by voting to lower the key interest rate by half a percentage point on Thursday, a move that favored by the majority. The Bank of England's key interest rate should continue to restrain economic activity to ensure that households and businesses don't act in ways that would prolong a coming pickup in inflation, a member of the Monetary Policy Committee said Tuesday. Catherine Mann on Thursday surprised investors by voting to lower the key interest rate by half a percentage point, a larger move than that favored by the majority. Well, what's going to happen in the UK with interest rates? Well, Canada announces ridiculous nonsense socialist government price control measures which are going to harm their economy far worse than U.S. tariffs. Freeland to announce plan to cap grocery profits and expand competition. Liberal leadership candidate Chrysler Freeland will publish a plan today to lower food prices, attacking a key part of the cost of living issue that has plagued her for much of her tenure as Minister of Finance. A campaign official speaking on background confirms Freeland will be in British Columbia today as the plan is published. It will include a promise to cap profit margins for grocers on essential items, including eggs, milk, vegetables, and baby formula. Well, hookers and blow are essential. Could you cap the prices on that for me? This is idiotic. Governments intruding in the free marketplace, putting price caps in there, just drives prices up in other areas for producers. They'll raise the prices where they're allowed to. This is idiotic socialism. And every country is guilty of it. The United States had price controls. The federal government regulated the price of petrol up until the 1970s when we finally got rid of that in the 1980s. Donald Trump wants Jordan to take Palestinians. A small country at peace with Israel but challenged by internal discontent will have to tread carefully as the president pushes his plan for Gaza. This is a very dangerous plan. King Abdullah is not stupid. King Abdullah knows that more Palestinians means more instability for Jordan and could topple his regime at some point. Yep, he'll be the first Arab leader to meet with President Trump at the White House, and it's shaping up to be more of a burden than a blessing as Trump is pushing for Jordan to take the unwanted, undesirable Palestinians from Gaza. I don't think they should. I think Egypt should take all of them. Gaza is Egypt. It was Egyptian territory when they attacked the Israeli state in 1948, and they should take responsibility for it. Isaac LaRue is curious what Scott Ritter, redacted, Colonel McGregor have to say about Trump sanctions. Well, Scott Ritter knows nothing about South Africa. Redacted, I don't know what they know. They're just polished and supported by big money. Doug McGregor really has no interest in it, so I'm not sure you're going to get them to talk about it. Maybe go to their channels and ask them about it and tell them, hey, maybe you should get Chris Wyatt on your program to talk about it. Redacted, happy to do it. Trump has paused the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act, which is a bit disconcerting in my mind. The Foreign Corrupt Practices Act makes it illegal for companies that operate in the United States to pay foreign government officials to secure or keep business deals. In other words, we're not allowed to bribe. Indian tycoon Gautam Adani was charged by prosecutors last year under the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act after being accused of bribing Indian officials. His company has called the charges baseless. The law, the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act, makes it illegal for companies that operate in the United States to pay foreign government officials to secure business deals. Though the law was enacted in 1977, federal authorities have more heavily enforced it since around 2005, cracking down on bribery. Marlena Jansa von Rensburg, thank you for your subscription. This bothers me. I'm concerned about it. The law has been abused in a manner that harms the interest of the United States, said Trump in his executive order. He's right, but I don't know that letting people bribe foreign officials is the answer. What do I do for a living? Edward Dos Santos says, well, I'm a consultant and I do consulting work and I'm a journalist. I do journalism. And this broadcasting is an element of my consultancy. It's one aspect of it, but it's the one that's consuming all my time and makes me no money at the moment. For instance, this coming month, I will be doing consulting work for the U.S. Army War College and then again in April before I head off to South Africa. So, I have turned down several job offers, making a lot of money to teach university, to work in a couple different places to continue doing this. So that's what I do. Why do you ask? Why do you ask? Doge has now produced billions of dollars in cost savings. Democrats' pushbacks, lawsuits, and threat to Doge employees. The cuts keep coming, including almost $1 billion announced on February 10th. After 3 weeks, Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency has made over $1 billion in cuts, according to numbers from the White House. Some of the biggest moves reckoned by the White House stem from the cancellation of more than 100 contracts related to diversity, equity, and inclusion. Trump's day one executive orders included seeking to end DEI. Doge also ended $748 million contract for a new embassy in South Sudan. Smaller cuts hit subscriptions for the news outlet Politico, $500,000, and $26 million for contracts for executive coaching and strategic communication. Doge's X account unveiled almost $1 billion additional cuts on February 10th. Wow. It's coming. It's coming fast. Wall Street has talked endlessly about ending DEI since Donald Trump came back. Well, they talked endlessly about it. He's ended it. It's come back. Goldman Sachs will drop a demand that corporate boards of directors include women and members of minority groups as financial firms backpedal from DEI promises. Wall Street has not typically been accused of doing too much for women and minority groups. The financial service industry, after all, is one in which more major banks are named after a Morgan family than led by a female executive. What a snarky little comment by Rob Copeland. The reason those banks are named after those Morgan family members is because they're the ones that built the banks. And that hurts your feelings that, these people are stupid. I'm not even going to finish that story. It's dumb. Trump says he's going to roll back standards for water-using appliances and light bulbs. Thank God we're being imprisoned by dysfunctional, inefficient washing machines, dryers, and light bulbs, and Trump is going to roll back that stupid government overreach. Donald Trump said Tuesday would roll back standards for light bulbs along with water-using appliances such as dishwashers. This includes standards on water flow regarding showers, toilets, sinks, washing machines, dishwashers, and other things. Thank God insanity is reigning. 27 religious groups, including Christian and Jewish groups, are targeting the Trump administration because they want to hunt down criminal alien invaders. More than 24 Christian and Jewish groups are representing millions of Americans, ranging from the Episcopal Church and the Union of Reformed Judaism to the Mennonites and Unitarian Universalists, filed a federal lawsuit challenging Trump's administration's move, giving immigration agents more leeway to make arrests in houses of worship. Lawsuit filed in U.S. District Court in Washington contends that the new policy is spreading fear of raids, thus lowering attendance at worship services and other valuable church programs. The result says the suit infringes on the group's religious freedom, namely their ability to minister to migrants, including those in the United States, illegally. Well, religious organizations have no right, no First Amendment right, to prophesize or to preach to illegal aliens. These people here are illegally. You are violating U.S. federal code. There's no religious exemption. It doesn't impinge on your right to freedom of religion. Your freedom of worship is free. There is nothing in the Constitution that gives you the right to violate federal code in your pursuit of your First Amendment right. And I read to you from the U.S. Constitution, the First Amendment. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion. And that's it. That's it. That's it. Or the right of people to assemble peaceably. So those two parts of the First Amendment, the only ones apply. So Congress has not created a state religion, and you have not been denied the right to assemble. You are just simply not allowed to violate U.S. code in supporting and harboring criminal alien invaders. So these people are fools, and their lawsuit will fail. Illinois gun requirement is unconstitutional, and another victory for Second Amendment enthusiasts. The ruling examined a requirement that state residents obtain an identification card to legally possess guns. Sounds like socialist. A statewide requirement in Illinois for guns violates residents' constitutional right to keep firearms in their homes. After analyzing all the evidence in this matter, this court finds the defendant's activity of possessing a firearm within the confines of her home is an act protected by the Second Amendment. White County resident Circuit Judge T. Scott Webb wrote in a decision on 10 February. The state's Firearm Owners Identification Act mandates residents have a card to legally possess guns or ammunition. Vivian Claudine Brown, a state resident, was charged by prosecutors for possessing a rifle despite not having a card. She filed a motion to find the law unconstitutional. So the state trying to oppress citizens has gotten a beat down. Well done shutting that down. Well, the corruption index is back out from Transparency International. Every year it comes out, and South Sudan is now at the bottom of it. Many countries had their worst showing in more than a decade. An index released Tuesday that serves as a barometer of public sector corruption worldwide, from leading powers such as the United States and France to authoritarian states such as Russia and Venezuela. Transparency International, which compiles the annual corruption index, perceptions index, found that 47 countries out of the 180 it surveyed had their lowest score last year since it started its current methodology back in 2012. Wow. Let's see where South Africa falls. Why did it take me there? Okay, I have to go to their website then because the link was useless. Transparency. There we go, transparency. Okay, here we go. 180 countries, 180 scores. Let's see how South Africa does. And the U.S. All right, so here we go. The least corrupt country, according to this survey, is Denmark with a score of 90, followed by Finland, 88, Singapore, 84, New Zealand, 83, which has dropped. All right, the United States doesn't come in very well on here. Wow, look at this. We're 65 on here, according to this. Wow. South Africa is ranked 82nd. They get 41 points out of 100. So 41 points. South Africa comes in 82nd in the world for the corruption index by Transparency International. That's public sector corruption. I'm curious how the U.S. comes in so low. 60-something. Barbados is ahead of us. I find that shocking to believe. I'm not going to buy that for a second. Yep. Bahamas, Barbados, please. Why are we low? The peak we've had was in 2015 at 76, according to this. It says we lost 4 since 2023, but it doesn't give a reason why. Anyway, there you have it. That's the news today, folks. Thank you for being with me, and I'll answer your questions now and address the chat more fully until we get ready for the next part of the broadcast, which comes up the top of the hour. So if you get an ad right now, that's intentional. I'm just testing to see if you get an ad. I'll do a poll to see who got the ad because I'm curious. So just hang in there if you get the ad. Let it play, please, and you won't miss anything, I promise. Okay, so let me put a poll up to see who got the ad. Start a poll. Did you just get an ad? Did you just get an advert? Okay, all right. So it'll probably take a couple minutes for this one because people get a short one. Okay, I'm just curious. Yes or no? All right, there you go. All right, USA F'd you guys. How did USA screw somebody? Putting dogs above cats. Isn't that racist? Doge is now a movement. It's a revolutionary movement that should be adopted in every country. Classic Assassin says. Oh, I like that approach. But some of us, Bill Ding uses ad block. Okay. All right. You pay not to have ads. Okay. Just a 4x4 spot on your yard, free access to your bathroom. I'll show you. I just hope I can get in the USA on this refugee settlement, says Napoleon. Just want to live my life without needing to look over my shoulder. I can appreciate that. Are you starting a new live stream in 30 minutes? Yes, that's correct. Okay, thank you for the heads up. So that notification worked. Yep, he'll be on the program in 30 minutes. So I don't know the channel. I've just seen a video that was shared, I think on TikTok or something he said about Trump. So this will be a discovery session for me. So it should be interesting. South African black population is as many as American black population. That's about right. We have about 35 to 40 million black Americans, and you have 42 million South Africans. I got Canadian ad for weight loss. Ozempic? YouTube Premium, don't think we get ads. You don't with YouTube Premium, that's correct. And I'm supposed to get a little tiny bit of slice of your YouTube Premium money. I don't know how they break that out, though, because you watch a lot of shows. How are we supposed to all get it? I got a poll before you type the... What? Okay, you guys paying for YouTube Premium? Well, at least you're paying for membership here. That's good. Damn Timu ad, of course, a Chinese overlord's getting us comfortable. David Hansen's jumping. What are you jumping for? Won't see ad if I have premium. That's correct. Boy, a lot of you have premium, man. I'd never tell anybody to have premium. I keep that secret to myself. I don't know why you tell people. Who would be eligible and righteous to be king of Azania? How many of them are actually from South Africa? Kai, you rarely get ads during live streams because I've set the stream so that the YouTube can't put the ads in. I don't like to put the ads in the middle of an interview or a conversation. I think that's rude. Occasionally I test it to see how it goes, and I forego a lot of ad revenue. Now, if you watch it after the fact, then they play the ads automatically. But I mean, I don't play them during the show when I do news. It's just I don't like it. I don't like being interrupted when I'm watching somebody else. So, One is, how did the U.S. execute the Afghanistan refugee plan? How long after the plan is approved before we can go? And will the U.S. assist refugees with travels, airplanes, or ships? Just a moment here, folks. My phone is blowing up. I'll find out what's going on over here. Oh, gosh. What's going on over here? Okay, it's nothing important. Sorry. It looked like it was going to be important. To answer your question, where did it go? Pierre Rousseau said, how long did they execute the Afghanistan refugee? Well, within hours. We foolishly just let Afghans pour into the back of planes without vetting them and flew them to America. It wasn't even legal. They just brought them here because Joe Biden's inept foreign policy. So how long after the plan is approved before we can go? Well, first off, Pierre, you'll have to apply to the plan. You'll have to be interviewed, and then you'll have to be processed. And then if you meet the standards, then you'll be allowed to come over here. I can't tell you that, Pierre. No one knows. There are no standards established for this non-existent program, which we're still waiting for. You have to be patient. I do need to do that video about the most frequently asked questions, and that's one of them. That's one of them. Yep. So thank you for asking, but I'll be making a video and explaining all of this to my viewers, and hopefully that'll get some attention. Okay. Ravani says, if you ever host Steven Crowder or you go on his channel, it may give you more exposure. I don't know how you contact. Yeah, no, Steven Crowder would be great, but I have no contact with that Steven Crowder, Charlie Kirk, Candace Owen crowd. Get out now before the majors start shouting. Huh? Oh, it's it's Trump calling the colonel. Yeah, I wish. Okay, I'm too sick to get to USA. What's that all about? Yes, YouTube didn't have any advertising being because nobody would sign up to the platform, but now it makes billions of dollars from adverts. And it's going well for me the past few days on adverts because even though people don't watch a lot of them, there's just so many views that it actually generates revenue. So, I mean, right now, this month, I'm on track to generate the most money I've made from ad revenue in the entire time of this channel in 4 years. Yep, in 1 month because of all the viewership. So thank you all for that. Yep, it's astounding to see. But I'm not gaining any subscribers today. What is going on there? I'm barely nudging the needle today. It looks like a bad day for subscribers. It's going to be hard to get to that 40,000 at this rate. Where did the Afghans settle? All over the fucking place, including right here in my community. Wherever they put them. Wherever they put them. Ernest Cuthbert, would you leave South Africa if you were in our shoes? It will be great to get your opinion. I've already made up my mind. I know I will succeed in the USA. Ernst, it's a fair question. I mean, how could I possibly answer that question? Because everybody's shoes are different. Rob Herself is not leaving, but Rob Herself is a billionaire. You know, he can buy all security, he can have the life he wants, and he can remain committed to South Africa with low risk to him. So I can understand why Rob's not leaving. I have friends who are farmers, and it's in their blood, the farming in South Africa. Their families have been there 350 years. They have no intention of leaving South Africa, but they suffer from theft, farm invasions, stock theft, farm attacks, and yet they stay. I empathize and understand why some South Africans would want to leave. But as I said, I'm heartsore that it has come to this and that South Africans feel the need to leave. What I am encouraged by, and I'll say this, is that Donald Trump's executive order has given a lot of South Africans hope. Not hope to come to America, although some of you have glommed onto that, and that's your prerogative. But it's given South Africans hope that someone's listening. Someone gives a shit. Someone actually cares. Someone's paying attention to the plight of South Africans. And no, not Afrikaners and white South Africans, but South Africans. Somebody other than Chris Wyatt finally gives a shit about South Africa. Isn't that encouraging? Isn't that nice? Isn't that wonderful? South Africans should rejoice in the fact that Donald Trump has issued this executive order calling out the ANC for its transgressions and its chummy relationship with Iran and its insults to America's national security. Andre Viviers, thank you for subscribing. So yeah, I think that's my thoughts on that, Ernst. I can't tell you to go or not go. I mean, I wouldn't want to have to abandon my homeland. But then for me, I mean, I've spent my entire life moving, so I'm kind of the wrong person to ask that question anyway. I've ironically lived in this house in one location for 9 years. This summer, it'll be 10 years. I've never lived anywhere in my life more than 3 years my entire life. Even as a child, I moved around. Oh, there's a super chat. Wow, thank you. That's your first super chat. By Ngema, my Zulu friend. Thank you. Thank you. You're going to have to teach me Zulu one day, buddy. Thank you for all your hard work. You're very welcome. And thank you for that super chat. That's very kind of you. Yeah. Yeah. So it's hard for me to tell you that. I would tell you this. When America was at its darkest moment under the Biden regime with censorship and my channel was removed illegitimately, illegally in violation of the terms and conditions that YouTube and I agreed to, when I was abused by racists on the left and right, when I was mistreated here, and when my retirement check was eviscerated by Joe Biden's inflation, and we were treated like slime for being patriots in this country and loving the country and loving all Americans and respecting the Constitution. In the darkest hour, never in my wildest dream did I want to abandon America. But I don't have to deal with people breaking in my home and carjacking me and raping my daughter and stealing my money. I don't deal with that. That's not an everyday occurrence. So, I mean, I have the luxury of not having that. I just had an oppressive fascist government that we had to fight back against, and we succeeded. And America's back, baby. We're back. Yep. It's time to galvanize. That's right. America is back, and we are back in a big way. Thank you, Donald Trump, for that. That's right. Don't hold back. Donald Trump is not holding back, ladies and gentlemen. We are all in. Chips are in. We put all the chips in the pile. So, Ernst, I try to answer your questions best I can. I hope that was helpful to you. Rebel Canners is here. Ooh, the preppers are here. Good to see the Rebel Canners. Been a while. Show some stuff to old Defense Forces to my son. He cannot believe they look so good and organized, almost like Major Dad sitcom. Marilyn's been in her house since 1997. Wow. Smee says it makes it so much better that it's the most powerful man in the world. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. NGO bases, illegals in county seats in Section 8, blending, displacing local income and veterans housing. Exactly. Yeah, that's where they put them. All right, this is me for the night. Keep safe, guys. All right, cool. Take care. Francois Molman says a show. Okay, I already read that. Okay, sorry. And there's a super chat from M. Thanks for the super chats, guys. You're the only one breathing a sigh of relief. Thank you. I'm breathing one too. Grant Bernardo says Trump's victory is a blessing for South Africans. Trump's victory is a blessing for the world. The world. Liberty is back, folks. It's back. Lisa Kotsia says, thank you so much. Grateful that people around the world are seeing after 31 years what terrible things are happening to South Africans. Well, Lisa, I've been seeing it for 31 years, and I reported it inside the intelligence community for years and years and years. And since I've been a journalist, independent broadcaster, I've been reporting it from the get-go. Sandra says, Trump has given us a card to use to negotiate against government overreach. Exactly. You are insightful, Sandra. Donald Trump, by doing what he did, despite all the lies and propaganda out there right now, has opened the door to push back against the ANC. I'm going to take you for a steak when I get to the U.S. Okay. Thank you for that, Napoleon. Americans are in support of us. Crowder condemned our government in Malema. Well, what does Crowder know about South Africa? They're all going to glom on now. They'll all glom on with their millions of viewers and get all the attention, and then it'll tell you things that they don't know about and get it wrong. Yep. All right, so thanks, Chris. Breathing a sigh of relief. Thank you, M, for the super chat. Most South African families exposed to hijacking, robberies, murders. Yeah, most of us don't have PTSD. Oh, no. Oh, you're surprised. No, most of you do have PTSD. You're also inured to violence. Jacques Nolte says, so glad for America. Okay, Kurtz, I had someone try to break into my home before, but after he left his shoes behind. Okay. Been following Big T from 2014, says classic assassin. Lumberjack loves Trump. Okay, cool beans. Maryland, and some people not just here think Trump is a devil in disguise. Well, that's because they have cognitive dissonance and they can't overcome their bigotry and racism. Are you going live again just now? That's correct. Gonna be. I'll be live after this with a special guest. I'll have a special guest on for another interview, my second interview of the day. Mary Jane saved her PTSD. Trump gave people 4 years for you to come settle, and that's an open door. No, he didn't. What are you talking about, Adele? Are you making an assumption there? You're making an assumption the program isn't active, and the program could be suspended at any time. It also could be limited by the number of people that could come. So we don't know. So I appreciate what you're trying to say there, Adele, but let's not put that up because people infer the wrong things. I've met so many nice Americans in my life and totally believe us Afrikaners Afrikaners fit well in America, but We're not trying to get Afrikaners to leave South Africa. What's your view of Pete Hegseth? Yeah, I think Pete Hegseth is interesting guy. I supported his position for Secretary of Defense. Thank you for the membership. In the interest of full disclosure, I was asked to send my curriculum vitae in to be forwarded to Pete Hegseth's team for consideration for a senior Defense Department position for me. Also, in the interest of full disclosure, I don't think anything will ever come of that, but I was asked to send it in. So it's in my best interest to not say bad things about Pete Hegseth right now. That said, I think that some of the stuff he's done is immature and he has a little bit of emotional response to things. But his actions as Defense Secretary thus far have been on the money, and he's been very impressive. So what the F is the point? Well, the point is life is wonderful. Had more than 10 break-ins, says Elizabeth. Wow. Trump gave the DA a bit more balls. No, it did, Edward Dos Santos. I don't give the DA any balls. Trump made the move because the DA didn't have any balls. Michael Holmes, I think it's your time to shine. Well done on the great week. Love your work, even if you are a bit right-wing. Dude, why do you call me right-wing? I'm not right-wing. I believe in freedom of speech, a liberal concept, freedom of worship, a liberal concept, freedom of assembly, a liberal concept, free markets, a liberal concept. Those are all liberal concepts. I'm not a liberal. I'm a conservative, but I'm not right-wing. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. We have an option to choose to not to pay for the sins of the past. Okay. I don't want to land in USA and be just as hated. Why would you be hated, Gerard? We don't hate the Senegalese, the Nigerians, the Ghanaians, the Myanmars. The only people we have issue with are the people who got here illegitimately, the illegal aliens. That's who we have problems with. That's who we have problems with. There's a Zimbabwean who runs an NGO 1.6 kilometers from my house. Shelton is his name. I interviewed him on my old channel. Come to the southern states and eat grits. Well, have fun down south. You guys are welcome to go there. Will Trump retaliate towards South Africa if we were to send soldiers to attack an enemy deep in Africa and attack countries' allies? Mike, we don't have any allies in Africa. No. If you want to be hating USA, don't go to New York and California. A president sitting in the Zondo file with no accountability. Well, classic assassins, there's no accountability for Pala Pala. There's no accountability for the Vrated Dairy Farm scandal, for Zandile Gumeda's 78 or 178 fraud counts. There's no accountability for the asbestos tenders in the Free State. No accountability for Zweli Mkhizi's Digital Vibes corruption scandal. No accountability for the arms, for the Nkandla. No accountability for Oilgate, Travelgate, for the PPE scandals. No accountability. Thank you for becoming a member. Alts. There's no accountability whatsoever. I just want to work and provide for my family. The Dems on Facebook hate any mention of South Africans. That's because they're bigots and racist. Would love to play host to you while you're in South Africa. Lots of farmers here would love to meet you in person. Well, Sandra Hanekom, whereabouts in South Africa are you talking about? Which province? I have met farmers. I was asked to speak to farmers in August 2022 in Zeerust, and about 125, 150 farmers were there, and I spoke. It was kind of awkward. It was evening. It was dark in this big, cattle processing facility. I did my best to talk slowly because most of them were Afrikaners and they spoke English in self-defense. Unfortunately, one of the farmers whom I met there had been a former police official, and then they responded to a farm attack and he was murdered. He responded to the farm attack. They shot him and it went under the vest and he died. He bled out right there in the bush. What the media didn't tell you, and I'm the only journalist in the world, and I'll stand by this, I've never seen another report, and I reported at the time, is that, and the reason I knew about it is because I had met him at the braai we had afterwards, and I was informed by the person who organized my speaking engagement with the farmers in Northwest that, in fact, he was the guy who died. And so I reported what happened. The truth of the matter was that the commercial farmers responded to a farm attack. The farm, they responded, they caught the farm attackers leaving on a road. They blocked both ends and they waited them out. But then this guy and his team got a little over anxious and went in close and they shot and they wound up killing him. What wasn't told in that story, except by me, is that those white commercial farmers were responding to an attack against a black commercial farmer in Northwest Province. A black commercial farmer is alive today because a white man gave his life to defend his property. Yeah, to defend the black man's property. And the media in South Africa never covered that story and were never honest about it. I did. So, yeah, Sandra, please tell me what part of the country. I love to meet with farmers. And I've met with I've gone to community patrols. I participate in community patrols at AfriForum. I've also done it with a farmers group in Northwest. Happy to do it. I cover agriculture all the time, and farmers are good people. So happy to do it. Nowhere on earth is a perfect place. That's true. Okay. Give my 30,000 PM in taxes for actual services. Trump reminds me of my Opa when he says he's going to do something. He sticks to it. Malema. I'm the same way. I tell you I'm going to do it. I do it. I do it. Or are they wearing white coverings? Who wearing white coverings? If your family stays and something happens, you have to no way to get to them. You have to fly back. It costs a hell of a lot. And now the ANC might revoke your citizenship. People need to wait. Some farm members said 2 experienced immigration lawyers were interviewed and said give facts, reference rates, and not straightforward one. Has to what? What? Some family members said 2 experienced immigration lawyers were interviewed. Said give facts, reference refugees, and not straightforward. One has to have real evidence proof to even be considered. They're liars. They're liars. If these are attorneys, they're lying sacks of shit, Cheryl. Lying sacks of shit. According to the United States government, a refugee is a person who is located outside the United States, is of special humanitarian concern to the United States, Afrikaners, as described by this executive order, and demonstrates that they were persecuted, which is what the lawyers are claiming, or demonstrate they fear persecution due to their race, religion, nationality, political opinion, or membership. You do not have to prove it. It's up to the officials to accept your explanation. You merely need to fear it. And again, I will give you the instance of a perfect situation that they can't explain away. If you are gay and you live in Jordan, or better yet, Syria, because we know this happens in Syria. If you're gay and you live in Syria, you're a homosexual. You fear for your life because they will drop you off of a roof to your death. Thank you for the 35 Rand super chat. I'll get back to that in a second. So those lawyers are full of shit and don't know what they're talking about. They're full of shit. I don't know who they are, and I don't care who they are. They're lying to you. They're lying to your family members. Do the research for yourself. This information comes directly from the United States government, and it is found in the Section 101, Paragraph A, Subsection 42 of the Immigration Nationality Act. That defines what a refugee is and how you become a refugee, and the fear of persecution, not actual persecution. So these people know what they're talking about. Again, fake news, bullshit nonsense. Don't fall for it. If you aren't going to do the research on your own, don't listen to these bullshit artists, including, look, fancy titles. I don't give a shit if somebody's a doctorate, because you got a lot of people, PhDs, got their heads so far up their ass, they're smelling shit the rest of their lives. Know what they're talking about. These are paid propagandists. These are people intentionally undermining this. I am not encouraging anybody to come to America. I'm also not discouraging anybody to come to America. I'm sad that people feel the need to come to America to abandon their country. But I'm not going to lie to you like these people do. And if you don't doubt me, look it up. Do a Google search for Immigration Nationality Act for the United States of America. Look up Section 101, Paragraph A, Subparagraph 42. Look it up. I bring receipts. I bring the truth. And if it's my analysis, I tell you it's my analysis. That's not analysis. That's a fact. It says right there. Fear of persecution. Now, it's up to the immigration officials whether they accept your fear. It's also up to them whether they accept that you're actually persecuted. But under the standards that Trump has put in here for this, it's pretty simple. You could drive a truck through this. Anybody could qualify for it. I could be a black South African. I could be referensa. I could be referensa and claim that I've been persecuted because I'm an Afrikaner. He's black, sings Afrikaans. He's an Afrikaan folk artist. Referensa could come here into this program. For Afrikaners in South Africa who are victims of unjust racial discrimination. Well, that's a pretty easy bar to get under, folks. So don't listen to these people who are telling you bullshit. They know what they're talking about. There's another super chat. Thank you. Blixum says you have firsthand experience and knowledge of what's going on here. I do. I'm not one of these bullshit artists and YouTube people who claim to know what's going on. Okay, so there you go, Cheryl. In my opinion, people should think seriously about leaving. If you think about what happened to white farmers in Zimbabwe, it should make you think we are heading that way. There's another super chat for 99. Miss B, thank you for the 100 Rand super chat. I'm aware of it, and I also told you that that was going to happen. Friday night, when this was released, I did a 4.5 hour live stream explaining all this. and debunking lies that were already starting before they even started, before most South Africans even knew about it. And I said that it says Afrikaners, but that will be broadly applied, and that will likely change to include minorities. Yeah, which include black folks. So I can take video for you now of cattle eating in front of my house and post it, but sun is going down. Oh, hey, Kudu. Francois says Trump. Okay. All right. So I'm trying to catch up because I got to wrap up here. We've got a guest coming on. Okay. So do we need a passport? Yeah, you normally need one. But look, I'm not going to, there's just time for that, Hank. You just walk in here at the end of a broadcast. I've explained this 100 times. No offense against you, Hank, but normally you don't need a passport if you're a refugee, because normally people are fleeing war. They've run across the border, they're refugees, and they're there. They don't have any documentation. They fled with what's on their back because they were being attacked by guerrillas or murderers or armies. In your case, in South Africa, that's not happening. So they'll probably require a passport. So you're screwed if you can't get one from Home Affairs. Although, and they could probably provide travel documents. The U.S. government can provide travel documents letting you in the country if you don't have a passport. All these criminals who are claiming false asylum and coming across our southern border don't have documents. They dump all their passports and ID cards along the Rio Grande. We find caches of all their documents. And then they go, oh, I'm Juan Valdez. I'm a coffee grower from Colombia, and I seek asylum. And then they get documents. We issue them documents. So we don't know the answer to that, and we'll find out. I've got to go here in a second, so my apologies. Jacques Leroux, thank you for your 35 Rand super chat. Appreciate that. And then Debbie Fox gifted 10 memberships. I cannot stay to recognize all the people for the memberships. Why can you keep blowing your own horn, your predictions, and kind of being rude to people in your comments who might just be new and didn't? Okay, so Karen, why are you being an asshole and being rude to me? Just popping in here and hearing this. I've been unbelievably patient, and you can ask the audience here how patient I've been for day after day. If you don't like it, you can leave. I don't have to tolerate your rudeness. I've been very polite to people. I've answered their questions for a week. I've gotten about 6 hours sleep over the last week by trying to dispel the rumors. Okay? If you don't like it, Karen, then you can leave. Thank you for your participation. Thank you for being here. I do appreciate your comment, but I don't appreciate being talked down to by that. I'm not being rude to people. You're being rude to me. Blowing my own horn. If you don't like me blowing my horn, then you can leave. You can leave. You can go listen to fake news somewhere else. You can listen to someone else that doesn't know what they're talking about. The reason I'm saying I told you this is because it's not new to me. I've said it over and over again, over and over and over again. Hundreds of times, literally hundreds of times the past several nights. So I'm sorry that it offends your sensibilities, Karen. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. But I'm not going to apologize for telling you that I told people this already. I'm not going to apologize for saying I got this correct. Because I did. People who just discovered me 5 years later, my prediction in November of 2021 about the vote percentage the ANC was going to get was correct. People told me I was crazy. Told me I didn't know what I was talking about. I didn't know anything about South Africa. And I came in right on the money with it. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Anyway, thanks to all the new members. Appreciate it. Thanks to everybody who super chatted. Thanks to everybody who's patient watching the program. Really appreciate it. Thanks for the likes. And for those who are interested, I've got a special guest coming up in 2 minutes, so I got to go. We'll be a couple minutes late for the start, so please don't say Chris is late. I'm late because I was addressing Karen's comment. Thank you for your comment, Karen. Steen Eisen brought up revisiting the commando system in rural areas again. His speech in Parliament almost fell from my chair. Wow. Yeah, I've been talking about that for years as well. Oh, wait, I'm tooting my own horn because I've been talking about that. Oh, okay. All right. I know nothing about the commandos. Sandra, that's not directed to you. It's directed to the card. I know nothing about commandos. I never heard of the commandos. Oh, thank you for telling me all about the commandos. Oh, wow. What a great idea that is. Not directed at you, Sandra. Yeah, anyway. Yeah, anyway. All right. So, you guys, thanks for being here, and I'll see you hopefully in a few minutes. SA Farm Girl. Yes, make a video on how asylum works. Well, that's a good idea because this isn't... Wait, where's it go? Where'd it go? SA Farm Girl. Yeah, because this is an asylum. That's the first problem. This is an asylum. It's not asylum. And that's the first problem. Not asylum. See, that's part of the problem. See, you got people talking about asylum and refugee status. They don't know what they're talking about. These are legal definitions, and there are certain standards for it. So anyway, yeah. Let me see. 74% of the people didn't get an advert. So that answers my question on the ad, on the poll. So there you go. 1 in 4 got the ad. So there you go. And I let that go in. So it's not Asylum SA Farm Girl. Make a video about that. A video. Okay, I will consider doing that. I'm also going to make a video about the most frequently asked questions I've been asked thousands of times over the past several days. So for those who come here to intentionally troll and attack people for wanting to leave, or those who come here and troll and want to attack me, please find another hobby. We're not really interested. Anyway. All right, cool beans. All right, that's it. Okay, all right, okay. I'm gonna do an apology right now. Okay, all right, an apology. Okay, here's an apology. Karen van Oswagen, was that the person who asked me the question? I'm just too scared to ask something and feel I'm being cocked out for asking because it was mentioned before. No, Karen. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, here's an apology to Karen Oswagen. Karen, my apologies to you if I came across as harsh. Okay. But we've had a number of trolls come in here, and they start with questions like yours. You were a little rude to me. You were cocking me out for tooting my horn. What was the purpose of that? I'm not tooting my horn. I'm explaining what's going on here and telling people that I already said this. If you watch any of these broadcasts that I've done over the past week, you will see me unbelievably patient answering people's questions over and again. Now, I mentioned that I've said it previously in the broadcast, not to toot my horn, so that people can go back and watch it, because I may have given more full description. Also, you can go back and check me to see if I'm telling you new stories. So, Karen, my apologies. My apologies to Karen. I hope you accept my apology. Okay? Yeah, and that's the problem, Karen, okay? That's the problem with the chat, okay? Is that you only get so many characters and you can't fully express yourself. Another challenge with the chat is that oftentimes viewers are speaking a second language and intent is lost. So my profuse apologies to Karen, okay? And see, here's Corso Vaxxer being a troll. Corso Vaxxer is coming in. I asked my question 10 times, not 11 times. I didn't even talk to him. I haven't even addressed him. So he's being a troll. He's not going to be punished because it's not malicious trolling, but that's trolling. Okay. All right. Okay. Cool beans. Karen, I hope you stay. I hope you hang around. And I've apologized for being a bit brusque. Okay. I hope that's fair to everybody. Okay. Yep. I won't be nasty. I'll answer your questions best I can. Okay. Okay. Yeah, and Ananda says over and over and over again, you read that piece of paper so many times in each broadcast. I know. All right, guys, my question would have been, is job opportunities or job types limited to refugees? No, they're not, Karen. That's your question. You just have to be qualified. And as we said last night, over and over again, and Arctic, who has a visa, works in America, he's a commercial pilot. Arctic said he's gone through this process, but he had to pay for it because he came here to work on a visa. You have to get whatever your qualifications are synthesized or re-approved in the United States, and that can take months on end. So if you're a pediatrician, it may take time. Okay, hang on a second. Give me a second here. Hang on. I got to tell this guy that I'm being late. Where's he at? Hang on. Okay, so hang on. All right. So there you go. All right. So yeah. So you have to get your qualifications approved. So if you're a nurse or you're, whatever your skill is, you can't just go into that work. You can get any job. You can go work in a diner. You don't need skills for that. You can go work in a retail shop. Don't need skills for that. The one big advantage for a refugee is you can work immediately. Asylum seekers can't do that. All right. That's it, guys. All right. Thank you very much. Karen, I'm glad we sorted that out. And again, my apologies. All right. Yeah, you can flip burgers if you want. Lots of things. All right, we're going to go to the next broadcast. Hang around. You'll be taken there in just a moment. Cheers, everybody. Bye-bye. Thanks, everybody. Cheers.